New findings from the United Nations offer a grim assessment of how off track the world is in combating climate change.
This year's deadly wildfires and monster storms, terrifying signs of things to come. According to tonight's dire new assessment from 13 federal agencies.
Witnesses say there was no warning. Stromboli volcano had simply blown up.
Dioxide emissions, they continue to go up despite the fact that we have to increase our ambition.
Finding is that the oceans and ice are in trouble, and if they're in trouble, we're in trouble.
This is not about belief. Science is about evidence.
Cool. But then there was another group saying, yeah, but there's this stuff called greenhouse gases that we're putting into the atmosphere and a phenomenon.
You turn the ocean acidic, you're destroying parts of this food chain that humans depend on.
A dire warning about climate change.
Cars and homes were washed away.
If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
I'm Sydney. And I'm Kathleen. And recently we were asked a question. If we were given the chance to talk to a 2020 presidential candidate about a topic, what topic would we choose?
And the most important topic to us is climate change.
So we began our research and we realized just how much climate change affects our society and our atmosphere today.
From rising temperatures, rising sea levels, air and water pollution, all of those are a part of climate change.
So we said to ourselves, enough is enough, because this is one of the most important topics that are affecting our world today, and it needs to be discussed.
From raging hurricanes on the coasts to extreme wildfires in deserts and even the melting icebergs in the Arctic to excess release of carbon emissions from vehicles or factories. Sadly, climate change is all around us.
Most people in our society today don't realize how much climate change affects our society, and some international leaders still believe that it's a hoax.
Well, we and 97% of other scientists around the world say otherwise.
What our study showed is that by the end of the century, approximately 2.5 million U.S. coastal homes and commercial properties, currently worth more than $1 trillion, would be at risk from chronic flooding. And by 2045, within the lifetime of a typical mortgage issued today, about 325,000 coastal properties worth $136 billion are at risk.
Both to manage climate risks, both by managing our greenhouse gas trajectory and by catching up with the climate change that's already happened and becoming more prepared for the climate change that will happen in the future.
So long ago, because of the shift in the magnetic fields, and they're shifting at an unprecedented rate. I think it's like 30 miles per day. And you have that combined with the solar activity and our magnetic fields protect the Earth from those cosmic rays, which impact our weather, as do ocean currents, changes in ocean currents.
How do you tell a group of people that the climate crisis is caused by a magnetic pulse? Doesn't go over well.
We need change! 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 We want change! We want change! We want change! Stop! 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 Stop!
So we asked Lauren Hunt, who is achieving her doctorate in ecology evolution with an emphasis on specialized human environmental behavior, her opinion on climate change.
So climate change is a change in a trend or pattern in weather and temperature that we have seen pretty consistently over the past several 100,000 years, and now we're seeing a distinct uptick in the temperature and a more unstable weather pattern that seems to be pretty permanent, at least right now and for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and what would happen to our climate or to the world that we're living in right now if no change is done?
To see a continuation in our oceans warming and rising and acidifying, which would cause a collapse in the ocean ecosystem, which would cause a number of downstream effects to community livelihoods and other food sources, and would also cause flooding and would cause mass migrations of people. And then we would also see a destruction of our agricultural systems. We would have a lack of, or a shortage of potentially food and water. We could see global unrest and more conflicts that would probably potentially arise due to migrations and food and water shortages and mass migrations. And we could also see impacts to human health with an increase in asthma and...
This is why we chose climate change, because it's one of the most important topics out there yet.
If you had the opportunity to talk to a candidate, what would you discuss?
Future! Our future! Our future!